Narsimha Saraswati, the farmer's rich harvest. Narsimha Saraswati is considered by many to be the second avatar of Guru Datta. He was born in the year 1378 at Karanza Nagar in Akola district in the state of Maharashtra. His mother's name was Amba Bhavani and his father was Madhav. They were a typical Brahmin family of those days, poor, very pious, and deeply devoted. His parents used to worship God Shiva daily. It is to be noted that many believe that the mother of Narsimha was none other than Ambika, who was blessed by Sripad Srivallabh in her previous birth. Needless to say, Narsimha Saraswati was also the reincarnation of Sripad Srivallabh. At birth, the child was named Narhari. Narhari is said to have uttered the syllable Om rather than the customary cry of babies after birth. He could not speak till his thread ceremony, which is to say till the age of 7. It is said that he had indicated this to his mother all along. On completion of his thread ceremony, he is known to have recited the Vedas. He then requested his mother to let him accept sannyas, the renunciation of household life, and undertake a spiritual life. After he obtained his mother's permission, Narhari left home in the year 1386 and travelled to Varanasi. He was initiated as a disciple by Sri Krishna Saraswati in Varanasi by the river Ganga, who also gave him the name and title Narsimha Saraswati. After this, he travelled to quite a few places spreading his spiritual message before settling in the town of Narsobawadi in the year 1422. He went to Gangapur in the year 1435, established a monastery, and lived there till his Mahaprasthan or the Great Departure in the year 1459. This is the story during the early days of his arrival in Gangapur. Gangapur is a small town in the Kalaburgi district in modern Karnataka state. The town is situated on the confluence or Sangam of the holy rivers of Bhima and Amarja. Narsimha Saraswati was also addressed as Gurunath by a lot of folks. Gurunath used to live in a monastery in town. Every day he used to go to the Sangam to perform his daily prayer rituals. Every time he went and came back from the Sangam, a farmer whose field was nearby used to come and fall at his feet. This continued for several days. Once on his way to the Sangam, Gurunath asked the farmer why he was so particular about falling at his feet twice daily. The farmer replied that he was essentially a tenant farmer. The sight of Gurunath every morning was a protection for him. It yielded him immense benefits. His field yielded an excellent crop. His family had never suffered a calamity over the years. Further, he said, the sight of Gurunath was a feast for his eyes. The farmer then requested Gurunath to step into his field and bless it. Gurunath and the farmer walked to the field. Though harvest was yet a month away, the jowar crop was mature. Gurunath glanced at the field. He said to the farmer, "Will you listen to me and do what I say?" The farmer immediately replied, "Guru, I will do whatever you say." Gurunath said to him, "Listen carefully. Cut down the crop only up to the stalks today itself." Saying so, Gurunath proceeded on his way to the Sangam. The farmer then went to his landlord to fix his share of the harvest. The landlord was agitated. He said the farmer had no reason to cut the grain as of now. The growth was excellent so far, and harvest was a month away. The farmer was obstinate and would not budge from his request. The landlord told him, in that case, he expected twice the yield that was given to him the previous year. To his surprise, the farmer agreed and left. When the farmer told the day's happening to his wife, she was very angry. She yelled at him and protested, saying, "What does Gurunath know about farming? Both you and your Gurunath are indeed mad. The farmer did not heed her, went straight to his field and did exactly as the Guru had said. While returning from the Sangam, Guru saw what the farmer had done. He asked him, "What have you done? I only asked you to do this jokingly." The farmer then said, "Guru, I do not care what will happen. Your word is all that matters to me. Please ensure your blessings are always with me." Gurunath blessed him and went back to the monastery. In the aftermath, the wife of the farmer was very upset and their household was indeed topsy-turvy. Suddenly, a week after this incident, there was an unexpected cyclone. All standing crops were destroyed. All suffered heavy losses. But our farmer had already harvested his crop. Further, he had cut the crop only up to the stalk. After the cyclone, in a few weeks, he found that the stalks yielded him another harvest due to the water of the cyclone. The year's yield was hence more than the yield last year. All other farmers had suffered massive losses. The farmer reminded the wife of her words against Gurunath. She was indeed humbled, and both of them went to the monastery to pay Gurunath their prayers. Gurunath blessed them and asked them to continue on their path of devotion. When the farmer went to his landlord, he refused to accept the extra grain and only took the regular share. He had personally seen the effect of the blessings of Gurunath. The farmer distributed the extra grain amongst the people who were ravaged by the cyclone. The farmer and his family thereafter continued to lead a life of piety and devotion. The blessings of Gurunath were always with them. We salute the great persona of Gurunath and conclude this story.